Welcome to LSC. It's Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today, we're coming to you from the power plant where we're at the NASCAR Sports Grill for the Tomlin Tailgate. And my first guest is the former Phoebus great, Nathaniel Adibi. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I tell you, this is really great to see you. You stayed in great shape and everything. Let's talk a little bit about you coming up through the system.
Okay.
You played, I imagine you played in the rec league.
I played at Fox Hill, actually.
Okay.
When I first got here.
And who were some of your coaches that you had out there? You remember?
And Fox Hill had Tom Moore. I think he still might be out there. I'm not totally sure. But he was a great coach, teaching all the basics and how to run the proper way of playing football.
Well, you know, and I was talking to Stan Sexton, and I said, well, where do you guys teach these guys how to hit? He said they get it from the from the rec league. So evidently you've got some good coaches, got some good fundamentals from there.
I did, actually. I had some bad, I say bad coaches, but I didn't learn the basics until I got to Fox Hill back in the 6th grade, I think, when I started here.
Right.
So he really taught me the basics of how to play football, proper way of tackling, running, and everything.
Right, and then you get to go to Phoebus. You know, it's a school with a program that's up and coming,
right,
and you get to play for Coach Bill D. How was that? It
was great. You know, I actually started playing JV football in the 8th grade. So I went from intermediates to JV, and that was a huge step. It was scary. Everybody was much bigger than me, and I had to get used to playing football real quick. But, you know, they had a great weightlifting program, and it caught on pretty quickly.
All right, now, Bill D did most of the coaching as the head coach, but you had some of the other coaches that just worked directly with you at the linebacker position, but you also ran the ball.
Yes, sir. Actually, I had Coach D for my running back coach, and I had Coach Sexton for my defensive end coach. Actually, vice versa. Coach Sexton was my running back coach, and Coach D was my defensive end coach.
All right. So, did you like defense better because you got a chance to hit? Was that?
At times. It's hard sometimes because you sometimes get double teamed or triple teamed, or you know. I think I had fun just playing football. Honestly, it didn't matter what position I played. I just truly had fun playing, especially in high school.
You had a passion.
I did.
All right. Now you leave Phoebus. Have a good career at Phoebus. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't have careers that they can look back on, but you can. But then you go to Virginia Tech, and you're going from a pretty good high school program to a well-known college program. Talk about that experience.
It was a great experience, actually. I got spoiled very quickly. My redshirt year, we went to the national championship. We lost to Florida State, unfortunately.
Right.
But we had some great players from the 757 area to go to Virginia Tech, and we really exploded for the next couple of years.
Well, you know, I look around and I talk to a lot of people from different states. And 757 area produces an awful lot of athletes. How do you account for that? Is it the coaching?
No clue. Everybody from the area is fast, big. I mean, we have this great talent from this area. It's unfortunate that some stuff is going on, but we have some very, very good talent in this area, and people need to keep their eyes on us. I mean, we have some good stuff coming out of this area.
Well, then I have to agree with you there. All right, now at Tech, what was that experience like going from high school to that next level?
Actually, I was ready to go to Tech. I was ready just to get off on my own a little bit. You know, I'd say college was definitely the best experience I've ever had in my life. You know, just really being by myself a little bit.
Right.
You don't have no type of pressure other than really performing, playing football, you know, but you have no worries. I mean, you literally go in there, play football, and go to school. I mean, when life isn't like that again.
But when you walk out in that Lane Stadium with that crowd, that's got to be just unbelievable. How do you explain that to somebody else?
I can go to Lane Stadium right now and still get goosebumps. Honestly, it was. I think the fans of Virginia Tech are some of the best fans in the nation. The coaching staff is wonderful. The players are great. Overall, I mean, Virginia Tech has been a blessing to me and my family, and I'm very thankful for Virginia Tech.
Right, but you got your degree, and you tried out for some pro teams.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. And sometimes it's luck, just being in the right place, right playing with the right team.
Yes, sir. Well, I had starting my senior year, for whatever reason, I just started having a little injuries, you know. And then from senior year to when I got drafted by the Steelers, I just kept having injury upon injury, and then my second year with the Seahawks, I ended up breaking my hip. So I had hip surgery probably like 4 years ago, and it's unfortunate, but I did have a degree. I did have some other opportunities to do other things, and it was a great experience while it lasted, you know. It definitely was a painful experience because I wasn't ready to give up football.
Right.
But football gave me up in a sense. That's what it feels like. But it was definitely a great experience. I definitely had a good time. I met some great people. And I would tell every kid out there to make sure you do get your degree, because you just never, ever know what's going to happen. You know, take it from me. I never knew I was going to break my hip. Who breaks their hip at the age of 25, 26?
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. But then you come back to the Hampton.
Yes, sir.
And going on the police department.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that. That's just awesome.
Well, I never saw myself actually doing it, but, you know, I find it would be a great experience for me, you know, a great way to help people, to get back to the city of Hampton. And for any type of kids who really need some help, you know, they can always come. I'm from the area, so hopefully they can trust me, don't trust nobody else.
Well, appreciate you coming by.
Thanks a lot.
All right, stay tuned for our next guest. Welcome back to the NASCAR Sports Grill. I have with me Keith Powell, who is the head coach of Wakefield up there in Arlington, Virginia, and he's part of the camp. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me a little bit about what goes on in the camp and what you bring to the camp.
What we do is the first day with the young kids, we get the high schoolers to instruct them. Everything that we're doing, we take them through drills. We make sure that they're getting proper nourishment and water breaks, and then we also go on to do a mentoring piece at the end.
Okay. Now, what do you do specifically? Are you working with just a certain section or what?
No, I'm supposed to be in charge of the coaches. And that's my job.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, like today I got lucky. I was able to coach the offensive line and get the rotation going.
Okay.
You know, that's my job.
Now, before you became head coach up there, what were your duties? Were you strictly a line coach or backfield coach or what?
I was when I was at T.C. Williams as an offensive coordinator, I was offensive line coach.
Okay.
And then I was at Wakefield before I went to T.C. Williams. I was a receiver quarterback coach.
Okay, so you've got a lot of experience with different positions.
Yeah, I've moved around a little bit.
As a head coach, do you rely a lot on your assistant coaches, or are you a guy that micromanages?
You know, I'm actually being criticized for not micromanaging enough. You know, I let my coaches coach, you know, and sometimes it comes back to bite me. You know, they make bad decisions, and, you know, I have to take the hit because, you know, I'm letting them coach.
Well, you're the head man. It always comes back to you. Where'd you go to college?
I started out at Glenville State.
Okay.
And played there a couple of years, and I transferred home and finished up at Norfolk State.
Okay, so you're a local.
I'm a local guy. I'm a crabber.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you know this area, and you know what kind of athletes that this area produces. Does it amaze you to see the number of great athletes come from the 757 area?
You know, I grew up in it. So, you know, I was kind of accustomed to it, but I didn't realize until I went other places how special the Tidewater area was.
Right.
You know, in particular the peninsula, you know, and the culture is different. And that's the thing I've learned being in different places, that, you know, the kids in the Tidewater area, they just love the game, you know. And in other places, they don't, you know, they don't understand that, you know, it's a window of opportunity. It's going to open and close. And when I always come home, I always tell my parents, I say, I'm home now. You know, it's football time.
Do you think about coming back down here to coach? Is it entered your mind a time or two?
You know, my friends always tease me, you know, Coach Smith got to retire one day, you know, and I go, you know, not really. You know, I love it, but my wife and kids, you know, we got a good life up in that area, but I love coming home, you know, but I would never rule it out because you never know.
Well, listen, we appreciate you stopping by and talking to us.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned, because the next guest is Dwight Hollier, formerly of the Dolphins down in Miami. Welcome back. I have Dwight Hollier with me, the former Miami Dolphin linebacker. and I'm real pleased to have Dwight here. It's been a long time, and I got to see you playing through high school and college and now into the pros. But let's talk a little bit about going back when you first started playing ball in the rec league. What was that like?
That was an amazing experience growing up here, and football was always something that we played in the streets in my neighborhoods that I grew up in. My dad was a little league, a rec league coach, and so I was introduced to the game very early, and had no idea what I was doing at 7 when I was out there playing tackle football. But over the years and through all the street ball that we played, I developed skills, and rec league was a great teaching ground and proving ground for me.
Okay, and then after the rec league, you go into Kickingham High School. You go into a program that's decent. And who was your coach over there?
Coach Johnny Pauls.
Johnny Pauls. I remember Johnny real well. And that had to be a big step up for you.
It was. It was a tremendous step up. And the great thing that I've had along the way on every level that I've been on is a good mentor, a good coach who believed in me when I really didn't believe in myself. And Coach Pauls was one of those guys. Coach Pauls, Coach Conrad, Coach White, they all believed in me and gave me opportunities when I didn't think I was ready. But they saw something in me that I didn't see.
Was you always a defensive player? Was that the thrill that you got out of hitting somebody, knocking them down?
I loved it. I loved it. If I was going to be an offensive player, I would have been a fullback. Somebody had smashed into you. In high school, I played tight end, but I couldn't catch. That was another thing. The reason I played defense is because I couldn't catch to save my life, and guys still joke me about it. I messed up my thumbs early on, and so everywhere I went, on every level, even in the catching drills and linebacker practice, I couldn't catch a ball. But I loved knocking people down, and that's always been a thing of mine. And that's the thing that I miss. I miss a lot of things about football, but that's definitely one of the things that I miss.
Well, that was your passion, obviously. That was your passion.
Absolutely.
Then you leave Kickingham, you go down, you're recruited, you go down to Tar Heel Country, played down at UNC.
Yes, sir.
And who was your coaches down there?
Mac Brown was my coach there, my linebacker coach.
Oh, you had a good one, Mac Brown.
Absolutely. And Coach Brown was a great, picker of talent. He understood talent. He understood how to surround himself with good coaches as well. Carl Torbush, which was my linebacker coach, was another guy who believed in me and saw something in me and really mentored me as far as what to do as a linebacker and as a young man up in college.
And it's not just ball. It's the whole gambit of being a responsive adult. Now, did you start right away down there?
Well, when I initially went down there, I was initially recruited by Dick Crum. And Dick Crum was fired after that first year that I was down there, and I redshirted that year. I had a horrible year. We don't have enough time to talk about all the problems that I had that year, all the injuries that I happened to have. He was fired. That spring, Mac Brown took over. And in spring football, I won the starting job as a 210-pound linebacker in a Division I school.
That's an awesome thing.
And I held on to it all the way through.
And that's just it says a lot for you and your character and your determination, even though you had a rough redshirt year and all that. But then you get drafted and you go down to play for the Miami Dolphins. What a thrill that had to be, and another level up.
Absolutely, it was a beautiful thing. I still remember getting a call from the Miami Dolphins, and Harvey Green was their media guy, and he said, Coach Shula wants to speak to you. And he gets on the phone and tells me, hey, we're going to draft you. And I was in my bedroom in my college apartment, jumping up and down, and just the biggest smile on my face, and such a proud moment. So the culmination of all my dreams coming true all at once.
Wow, that had to be a great experience. Now, you go through your NFL career, and then you come to the end of it, and a lot of people say, oh, what do the old athletes do? You go into mental health.
Yes.
And helping athletes that have some problems. That has got to be a tremendous feeling to be able to help somebody. The thrill you get off, they're almost like a coach
Yeah, it's allowed me to continue to dabble in my passion, or with my passion, as far as working with athletes. But mental health is also something that spoke to me, and it spoke to me early on. I actually started and finished my master's degree while I was playing for the Miami Dolphins. I graduated in 2000. Was a free agent at that time. Went to Indianapolis and played that year, and things just kind of worked out well for me. I ended up getting hurt in Indianapolis and retiring shortly after, but I already had that master's degree and retired in September. In December, I was working in mental health, and I've been working in that field ever since.
Fantastic. Well, you bring a great picture to these youngsters out there that, you know, that there is life after ball, but you got to be prepared. And you were prepared.
Absolutely.
You did what you had to do to be prepared.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I go around and I talk to people and teams and athletes about is there's a way of managing this game so that you have something on the other end. You know, the NCAA does a great job of explaining that, you know, most athletes are going to go pro in something other than sports. Well, most pros are going to go pro in something other than sports. And that's, no matter how old you get and how long you play, one day the game is going to end. And when it ends, what will you be ready to do? And so putting that bug in their ear gives them an opportunity to really think about, what is that next thing? What is that next step? What is going to be my next passion? And
Right.
So I try and do things in working with athletes to try and connect them with that passion.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and talking to us.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for tuning in to LFC and Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Until next time.